I'm Siobhan and I've got you on top of my fridge. Hello and welcome to another episode of, it used to be called Getting It Together. That was last video. Actually since changed the name again. This time I feel like it will stick because it's more like fitting. I said that in the last video, but this one makes more sense. I'm gonna call this series Let Fridge Talks because it just makes sense. My phone's on top of my fridge. I'm talking fridge talks. I just like it. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Fridge Talks. This is episode 3. If you're putting together your first book as I am, I'm sure you've asked a lot of the similar questions that I have, which can seem kind of daunting actually. Some of the questions that I've had to ask myself is, do I really have to do this all by myself? Is this gonna cost a lot? I really have to be doing this all by myself? Amazon KDP or Ingram Spot? These are some of the questions that I've been asking myself, and yeah, the answer to do I really have to be doing this all by myself, if you're trying to keep costs low, I mean, you don't have to, but yeah, you kind of have to do a lot of it by yourself if you're trying to keep costs low and get the job done. Self-publishing your own book is definitely not easy. Speaking of books, by the way, I've got my book here. You know I'm about to be serious. I'm gonna try and get serious and give you guys the TT off of what I've learned so far. Yeah, as I was saying, this whole journey is not an easy journey. What made it slightly easier for me is that I had previous experience in graphic design and illustration. A lot of it was self-taught. Your girl was out here cracking them codes, doing up YouTube at 3 o'clock in the morning, asking Google, is this a vector? What is a vector? Like, I really had to be getting down with the nitty and the gritty. I'm not gonna say I'm a pro at all. I've learned what I've learned just through picking up bits and bobs here and there. Even Reddit taught me quite a lot, to be fair. With that being said, I'm gonna show you guys how I would put together a book cover design. I'm not gonna use the book cover design that I'm actually gonna use for my book because that's a secret. I'm gonna show you how I would use these 3 free tools to get your book looking professional. The first tool that I utilized, I like that word, utilized. The tool that I utilized was a tool called Krita. So Krita is actually a desktop app that you can download, and I love it because it is free. Well, Krita is basically Microsoft Paint, but imagine she's a rich cousin that's left London to go and live out her best life up in Cardiff and study in Cardiff, and now she's just her best self. Do you know what I mean? She's really found herself. Krita is obviously the upgraded version of Microsoft Paint. Professionals use to do graphic design, to do illustration, and now I use it. Like I said, I'm not professional. So I've basically found this online because I wanted to get into doing graphic design. I looked up like free graphic design tools. Krita came up and it had really good reviews, so I downloaded it. And yeah, I just got into teaching myself how to use it. What I like about Krita, particularly for creating content, specifically creating your own book and your book cover, etc., is it allows you to be able to create artwork with your own flair. Why did I say that so weirdly? Your own flair. Artwork with your own flair. It's unique to you. You can make it specific to how you want your book's aesthetic to look. You're not going to find it anywhere else, okay? You can create yourself a little one-off piece that's going to be in your own book. No one else is going to have that design. I basically created some artwork. I drew it on paper exactly how I wanted it. I then took a picture. By the way, I'm going to insert a video of me giving you an example of how I would do this with a made up book that I've just created some artwork for. And we're going to use this friendly looking cow right here. So I just drew that on a piece of paper, and then I would go ahead and take a picture of it on my phone, and I would then send that picture to myself via email or any type of way that I can sort of get it onto my laptop. From paper onto laptop, that's what I need. And then I would open up that image, save it so that I can open it up on Krita. So I've imported it onto Krita. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to add a layer. So this is a drawing layer that I can use. Imagine you have a piece of artwork that you've drawn in a book. In fact, I've got the piece of artwork here. This is the artwork here. Imagine you've got this right here that you've drawn on a book, and you want to get a piece of tracing paper. You're going to put that piece of tracing paper over this, and you're going to draw your image onto that tracing paper. That's technically what we're going to be doing on Krita. You're going to take the image that you've imported, and you're going to add a layer on top of that. Now this layer is going to be, you're going to turn the opacity on this layer all the way down, so it's going to be basically see-through. It's not going to have any color to this layer. So that's basically your tracing paper. And then you're going to take whatever tool that you use to draw. If you've got a tool, you can also use a mouse to draw on top. I use a stylus. Let me get it. So the tool that I basically use is this Wacom, I think that's how you pronounce it, like I don't even know what you call this. It's like a drawing pad, but it's digital, and it comes with this pen. I hook this up to my tablet, and then I can draw whatever I want on here, and it goes directly onto my tablet. That's what I use when I'm using Krita. I don't use my laptop, I use a tablet. I don't know why, I've been doing that for years, and it works. So you're gonna basically use whatever tool that you want to use to be able to draw. You can definitely use a mouse. I have used a mouse before to be able to draw lines just like you would on paint, but I do find it a bit more tricky. I've seen people do it, like professionals do it, and they can draw like the best lines, straight lines. I've seen them draw like the prettiest piece of artwork. So it's definitely something that can be done. So once you have started, you draw the outline of the image that you have drawn and fill in any details inside. What you're then going to do is, once your artwork has been drawn up, you're going to delete the original piece of artwork that you've got underneath that layer that you've created. So you're going to delete it so it's no longer there, and what you're going to be left with is an outline of this image that you've traced over basically. And then you're free to go ahead and customize that image exactly how you want. Color it in just as you would on paint. You can obviously just fill color on it, so you don't have to sit there coloring it in unless you want to. Once you have finished your artwork and you're happy with how it looks, you're then going to go ahead and you're going to export that image as a PNG, and you're going to make sure that it has a transparent background. The point of doing that is so that you can then move that image to whatever other design tools you're planning on using, and it will have no background, and it can integrate nicely with the rest of your book design. That is the perfect segue into my number 2 favorite free design tool, Canva. So I created the rest of my book cover in Canva. So I went ahead to Canva. I made sure that I had the correct dimensions of whatever my book needed to be, and you can find the correct dimensions, like the specs, you can find that on whatever distribution service you're planning on using. They should have the required specs of whatever book size you're planning on creating. So whether that's Amazon KDP or Ingram Spark or whatever other distribution service you're planning on using, they should have the correct specs on there for the book size that you require. Once I found the correct specs, I then created a canvas on Canva with the correct dimensions that were required, and you get this white background obviously. Then what you're going to do is you're going to pick a color, whatever you want your book cover to, whatever color you want your book color. But why can't I speak today? Dang it. Whatever color you want your book cover to be, you're gonna go ahead and change it to that color. So I tested out quite a few colors before I was actually happy with the correct color that I wanted, and I think that's key. It's good to experiment with different colors, try colors that you wouldn't even have imagined, because you never know what might look good. I picked a color to begin with, and then I imported the image of the cow into Canva so that I could go ahead and use that on my book cover. Once I had that on my book cover, I sort of was playing around with colors a bit more just to make sure that it looked good, and I went with the color that you're seeing now, because I was just like, yeah, I don't know what this book's going to be about, because obviously it's not a real book, but I was like, if it was a real book, I would go with this color. I then sort of played around with different illustrations and graphics that you get through Canva's asset library. So Canva has an asset library that allows you to be able to pick any asset that they have. They have a range of different illustrations, graphics, shapes, fonts, etc, etc. This is what I love about Canva. It's perfect for the beginner, it's easy to use, and you don't really need any graphic design experience to use it. You can just literally click and drag from the asset library over to your design. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just finding different assets that I think will look good. I'm gonna go with a grassy effect. I'm gonna go with some clouds, yeah? Doing up natural. I don't, like I said, I don't know what the book is, it's a fake book, but yeah, let's just run with it. It's just about playing around with it and trying to get the look and feel to your book that you're trying to achieve. I'm gonna move over now to the blurb, which is gonna be on the left-hand side, and I'm just gonna pick some text boxes, put them on the left-hand side, and then pick a font. So you can see, like, this is just very basic, as you can see. Like, this isn't a real book. Like I said, if it was a real book, I'd probably spend more time on it trying to perfect everything. I'd get like more images just to make it look a bit more complete. But I'm just showing you an example of how you can do a book cover quite quickly if you wanted to, if you was really short for time, with not much, I guess, work needing to be done. You can see how I've used that image that I created in Krita to create a book cover that's quite unique. because I've created that design. As in, I've drawn that myself, it's hand drawn, so it's gonna be a one-off piece, and yeah, you wouldn't find that somewhere else. So that's the beauty of using Krita and Canva together. That moves me over to my third favorite free design tool. So this one is called PhotoScape X. Again, so Canva is a web-based design tool. PhotoScape X, like Krita, is a desktop app. So you will need to download it and have it on your desktop. PhotoScape X, I don't use as much as I used to, because I find that a lot of the things I can do on PhotoScape X, I can actually do on Canva. The only thing that I can do on PhotoScape X that I cannot do on Canva is removing backgrounds. For some reason, Canva has decided to make that something that you have to pay for, and I'm like, why? So you have to upgrade your account to a Canva Pro account in order to be able to remove backgrounds. So I found myself a little cheat code. You can thank me later, I put you on. Download PhotoScape X, they don't charge you to remove backgrounds. And the beauty of being able to remove your background is that you can then go ahead, like I said, and move your image around. You can sort of customize it a bit more. As you can see here, through PhotoScape X, once I removed the background, I then went ahead and played around with changing it to a different background color. I also changed it to like a sticker style, so it had like the outline around it, and then I played around with giving it a glow sort of theme. And then you can just like you did on Krita, you can then go ahead and export that and use it in your on your book cover that you created on Canva. I tend to use, even just for content creation in general, to be honest, I tend to use those three design tools because I just feel like they work quite well together. Again, I feel like I've just done a lot of talking. I'm hoping that you gain something from these tools that I use and that they can help you like how they've helped me. Just know that I put you on. If you know any design tools that do all of that and you don't have to use three and it's free, holla at your girl. Drop it in the comment section down below. Even if you know any other design tools that you've used to create your book, drop it in the comment section below. I want to know. Let's all learn together, baby, and then we can all make it. We can all win. Like, comment and subscribe and all that good. I'm gonna see you on the flip side. Peace.